Everything you buy, whether it's your morning coffee or that new smartphone, actually has two supply chains. There's the one you can see, the trucks, the ships, the planes, but then there's the one you can't, the information supply chain. So today, we're going to dive into why that invisible one, the data, is now moving way faster and honestly matters a whole lot more than the goods themselves.
This quote right here, it completely flips the script on how we've always thought about business. Modern competition is a battle between supply chains, not individual companies. What that really means is it's not just about having the coolest product anymore. Nope, it's about having the smartest, fastest, most efficient delivery network on the planet.
So yeah, the whole logic has changed. Think about the old way. The best product won, period. And how fast you could move was limited by, physics, how fast a truck can drive or a ship can sail. But now, the real winner is the company with the fastest, most reliable data. Your only true speed limit is how good your IT is. The entire focus is shifted from the thing to the information about the thing.
So how did we even get here, to this point where data is king? Well, it's been a journey, a real evolution. You can think of it like climbing a ladder, where every single step takes you further away from simple trucks and closer to complex tech.
Okay, so this ladder has 5 rungs. They're each known as a party logistics level, or just PL for short. At the very bottom, 1PL, a company is doing it all themselves. Just picture someone in a back office managing inventory on a spreadsheet. Then you get to 3PL, where you're outsourcing the really complex stuff, like warehousing. By 4PL, you don't even own any trucks or warehouses. You're just the brain, using a slick IT platform to manage all the other providers. And at the very top, well, that's where things get interesting.
You reach 5PL, basically virtual logistics. This is where the entire supply chain is run by big data and AI. And you see this exploding in e-commerce. For every single order that comes in, it's algorithms, not people, that are choosing the best warehouses, the best trucks, all in real time. The physical movement of stuff becomes almost an afterthought to the digital command.
But here's the thing, most companies are not at the top of that ladder. And when you're stuck on those lower rungs, you run headfirst into a huge problem. Information silos. It's a fancy term for a really simple and really damaging problem. It just means your departments aren't talking to each other.
Okay, check out this classic conflict. The procurement team's whole goal, their main metric, their key performance indicator, or a KPI, is to save money on what they buy. So they score a great discount for buying a massive 3-month supply. Their KPI is met, they look like heroes, but they never talk to the warehouse. Now there's literally no space for all this stuff, forcing the company to rent super expensive emergency storage. So one department won, but the company as a whole totally lost.
Or how about this one? This happens all the time. To close a big deal, a salesperson promises the client, "Oh yeah, we'll get it to you tomorrow," without ever checking if any trucks are actually available. So to keep that promise, the logistics team has to scramble and hire an outside carrier at like 3 times the normal rate. And the result? Sure, the sale was made, but the profit margin was completely destroyed, gone.
So what's the fix for these killer silos? You have to get the data flowing. It needs to move freely between all your departments. You basically need to build a nervous system for your entire supply chain.
And this nervous system, it has 3 main pathways. First up is the forward flow. This is all the data that moves before the goods even start their journey. It all begins when a customer places an order. Then you have the accompanying flow, which is the data that travels with the goods, like a truck's GPS signal. And finally, there's the backward flow, which happens after delivery. Think about that confirmation text you get. That signal then triggers the company's system to send out an invoice.
Let's trace this whole thing with a simple online order. At 8 a.m., you click Buy. That kicks off the forward flow, telling the warehouse management system to grab your item. At 11 a.m., it ships. Now the accompanying flow is active, and you can start obsessively tracking it. Finally, at 4 p.m., it's delivered. That delivery scan triggers the backward flow, which tells the system, hey, we're good, send the bill. But this whole beautiful synchronized system is actually really fragile. It's got one massive vulnerability, the quality of the data itself. And this is all because of a fundamental principle in computing: garbage in, garbage out. The GIGO principle is so simple, but so powerful. If you feed a powerful IT system with bad data, it will only produce automated chaos. For example, if a worker accidentally types that a pallet's weight is 100 kilograms instead of 500, the system will perfectly and efficiently plan a route for a truck that is now dangerously overloaded and is definitely going to get fined. Automation doesn't fix a broken process, it just puts it on steroids.
So what happens when these aren't just one-off mistakes? What if tiny little errors are just baked into the system, rippling from one partner to the next, all the way up the supply chain?
Well, you get something called the Bullwhip effect. And it's the perfect name for it because the chaos just amplifies. A tiny 10% increase in what customers are actually buying leads the retailer to order 20% more, just to be safe. The manufacturer sees that jump and orders 40% more raw materials. A tiny ripple at one end becomes a tidal wave of overproduction and waste at the other. It's crazy.
So how do you tame this bullwhip? The only way is with complete end-to-end transparency. And the modern solution for that is called Vendor Managed Inventory, or VMI. Instead of placing blind orders up the chain, the supplier gets real-time access to the customer's sales data. They literally see what you see, and they manage the stock for you. It completely replaces guesswork with a shared reality.
So what's the end game for all of this data integration? I mean, where is this all headed? Well, the ultimate goal is something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, creating a digital twin of the entire system.
Think of a digital twin as a perfect video game version of your entire physical supply chain. It's like a virtual sandbox where you can test out any crazy scenario you can think of. What if a major port shuts down for 2 weeks? The digital twin can simulate the fallout and tell you exactly when your factory will run out of parts, all without any real-world risk. It's a game changer.
And this brings us to the final really big trade-off. We are building a world of perfect information, total visibility, and incredible predictive power. But getting there isn't free. I mean, the systems, the sensors, the data processing, all of it costs a ton of money. Which leaves us with a critical question to chew on. Is perfect information always worth the price?